Empowering Black Voices: The Funding Journey of African American Films. African American films have historically played a transformative role in the cultural landscape of the United States, shaping perceptions and influencing societal norms. They serve as essential narratives depicting the diversity and depth of Black experiences, yet the road to bringing these stories to the big screen is often paved with financial challenges and systemic barriers. From securing funding to accessing distribution channels, African American filmmakers have faced unique barriers in a highly competitive industry that often overlooks their potential. This article explores the funding landscape for African American films, recent changes in funding opportunities, and the work still needed to support Black filmmakers in their creative endeavors. The challenge of funding Black stories. Historically, African American filmmakers have been underrepresented in the film industry, not only as creators but in terms of access to funding and resources. Hollywood's traditional financing structures have rarely prioritized stories that center on Black experiences, leading many filmmakers to rely on alternative sources of funding, often with limited success. These include private investors, personal savings, and crowdfunding, as well as grants from organizations committed to amplifying marginalized voices and supporting diverse narratives. However, these avenues can be inconsistent and limited, often insufficient to cover the high costs of film production, which can be a significant hurdle. Several factors contribute to this funding gap, making it a persistent issue. Many investors in Hollywood continue to operate on the assumption that Black-led and Black-produced films have limited audience appeal, a notion that is both outdated and inaccurate. While this perception has been widely debunked in recent years, lingering biases have historically impacted financial support, limiting the scope and reach of African American films and their creators. Additionally, independent filmmakers, who often rely on festival circuits to gain visibility and funding, are less likely to secure the resources needed for wide distribution or mainstream marketing campaigns, further hindering their success. Changing dynamics: a surge in support. The last decade has seen a notable shift in the film industry as awareness of the value of diverse stories has grown, leading to increased support for Black filmmakers. Black-led films like Black Panther, Get Out, and Moonlight have achieved both critical acclaim and box office success, proving that films by and about Black people can resonate universally and have broad appeal. These successes have, in turn, encouraged more funding for African American filmmakers and their projects, creating a more supportive environment for their work. Hollywood studios and streaming platforms alike have recognized the demand for diverse narratives, and some have committed to supporting Black filmmakers by creating targeted programs and funding initiatives that aim to level the playing field. Studio initiatives. Major studios such as Warner Brothers, Universal Pictures, and Disney have made commitments to amplify Black voices in film, recognizing the importance of diverse storytelling. Disney's Reimagine Tomorrow initiative, for example, aims to support underrepresented creators and stories, offering more opportunities for African American filmmakers to pitch, develop, and produce their ideas, thus fostering a more inclusive industry. Streaming platforms. Platforms like Netflix and Amazon have emerged as champions for Black storytellers, providing funding and distribution that bypass traditional Hollywood gatekeeping, allowing for greater creative freedom. Netflix's Strong Black Lead program, launched in 2018, exemplifies the platform's commitment to increasing visibility for Black stories and talent, ensuring that these narratives reach a wide audience. Moreover, Netflix has actively supported Black filmmakers by commissioning original content and acquiring independent African American films that might otherwise struggle to find a broad audience, thus expanding their reach. Dedicated film funds, organizations such as Array, Ava DuVernay's Media Collective, and the Black House Foundation have become instrumental in funding, promoting, and distributing Black-centered films, providing crucial support. Array. Releasing, for instance, has amplified the work of Black filmmakers by helping distribute independent films that lack the backing of major studios, ensuring these stories are seen. Similarly, the Black House Foundation supports Black creators in navigating the Sundance Film Festival and other industry platforms where funding connections are often made, providing them with valuable opportunities. Nonprofit grants and foundations. The Blacklist, a platform that highlights the best unproduced screenplays, has partnered with organizations to fund films from diverse creators, ensuring that these stories are brought to life. Other grant-providing organizations like the Ford Foundation and the Tribeca Film Institute have made it possible for filmmakers from underrepresented backgrounds to access crucial resources that help bring their visions to life, supporting their creative journeys. The role of crowdfunding and community support. Crowdfunding has emerged as an alternative funding source for many African American filmmakers who struggle to gain traction through traditional channels, providing a viable option for raising funds. Platforms like Kickstarter and Indiegogo have allowed independent filmmakers to appeal directly to audiences, raising funds from small contributions that add up to make production possible, thus democratizing the funding process. Crowdfunding campaigns also create a built-in audience, sparking excitement and interest in a project even before its release, which can be crucial for its success. Community support has been pivotal for many independent Black filmmakers, providing not just financial backing but also moral support. For instance, filmmaker Spike Lee has historically turned to community-funded models, including crowdfunding, to finance his work, demonstrating the power of community support. This approach not only provides funding but also establishes a connection between the filmmaker and their audience, fostering a sense of ownership and pride among supporters, which can be incredibly empowering. Progress and the path forward. Despite recent strides, significant work remains to ensure that African American filmmakers receive equitable support and opportunities within the industry. While there is a growing recognition of the value of Black-led films, industry disparities still exist, and addressing these disparities is crucial for true progress. To build a truly inclusive funding landscape, stakeholders can focus on several areas, ensuring that support is both comprehensive and sustained. Increased representation in decision-making roles. Greater representation of African Americans in executive and greenlighting roles within studios and production companies can result in more diverse narratives receiving funding and support, leading to a richer cinematic landscape. Expansion of targeted film funds. Developing more grant programs and funds specifically dedicated to African American filmmakers can help address existing funding gaps, providing them with the resources they need to succeed. Private investors, corporations, and foundations can contribute by investing in the production, distribution, and promotion of Black-led films, ensuring that these stories reach a wide audience. Transparency in funding and distribution. Ensuring that diverse voices have equal access to funding opportunities requires a commitment to transparency within the industry, making the process fairer. Publishing grant and funding opportunities, establishing clear criteria, and streamlining the application process can make funding more accessible to Black filmmakers, removing unnecessary barriers. Long-term funding models. Sustainable support for Black filmmakers goes beyond one-time grants, requiring ongoing investment. Establishing long-term partnerships and multi-film deals with Black creatives and production companies can help establish a stable pipeline for African American films, ensuring their continued success. Audience support. Audiences play a critical role in sustaining African American films, and their support is invaluable. Supporting Black films at the box office or streaming them upon release sends a clear message to the industry about the value of these stories, encouraging further investment. African American films are essential to the broader cinematic landscape, offering a diverse array of perspectives and showcasing a range of narratives that enrich the medium, making it more inclusive. While funding remains a challenge, the progress made in recent years has provided a foundation for a more inclusive future, one where diverse stories can thrive. By continuing to address the financial barriers Black filmmakers face, the film industry can create space for stories that entertain, educate, and inspire, enriching the cultural fabric. Through ongoing support from studios, platforms, communities, and audiences, African American filmmakers can continue to share their visions with the world and ensure that their stories thrive on screen, making a lasting impact.